The man was just cutting a tree stump when he accidentally sawed straight into a hornet's nest. After getting stung all over, he came running out, waving a chainsaw in panic. But the college kids who came here for a trip mistook him for the legendary chainsaw killer. His friends instantly screamed and scattered in every direction. But one boy happened to run the same way as him, so one of them thought he was being chased by a killer, while the other was desperately running from hornets. Before long, Hank somehow ended up running ahead of the boy. Only when he got close did the boy finally realize this man wasn't chasing him at all. But before he could react, the accident happened. Because he wasn't watching where he was going, he ran straight into a sharp tree branch. The branch pierced right through his body, and even in his final moments, he would never know. Hank had only been trying to escape the hornets. Later, Hank returned home with his face covered in swollen stings and told his brother Nick about the bizarre thing that had just happened.
He must be allergic to bees or something because he was running like a bat out of hell.
At the same time, the other college kids arrived at the boy's death scene. Seeing their friend's horrific body, they immediately believed this was a warning from the killer. To avenge their friend, they all decided to fight back. Meanwhile, Hank wanted to make sure the deadly branches couldn't hurt anyone else, so he decided to throw them all into the wood chipper. But just as he was doing that, one of the college kids arrived for revenge and saw the whole thing. Blinded by anger, he charged at Hank without saying a word. Hank tried everything he could to save him, but the other students who had just arrived to help thought Hank was shoving him into the machine. They were so terrified they all hid in fear. By the time Hank finally pulled the boy out, only half of his body was left. Meanwhile, Anna, who had no idea what was going on, was helping Nick dig a hole to build an outhouse. But when the other students saw this, they misunderstood again. They thought Anna had been forced by the killers to dig her own grave. One student in green couldn't take it anymore. He grabbed a weapon and charged straight at them, but before he could do anything, his foot slipped. By pure accident, he fell right onto a wooden stake. The stick pierced straight through his body. Nick was so scared he nearly lost his mind. After that, Nick carried the injured Anna back into the house. Just then, Hank rushed inside in a panic. Still shaken, he told Nick that some suicidal college kid had waited until he turned around, then jumped straight into the wood chipper. Nick immediately understood the feeling. He said he had just met a crazy student too. The moment he finished digging the outhouse hole, that guy couldn't wait to jump into it and kill himself. After everything that had happened, Hank came to one conclusion. These college kids had come here on purpose to commit mass suicide, so he decided to hide every sharp object in the house. But then Nick said these students were even more terrifying than they thought. They didn't even spare their own friends. Hearing this, Hank fell into deep thought. He believed those kids had completely lost their minds, and sooner or later, he and Nick would probably be their next victims. Nick wanted to call the police, but Hank immediately stopped him, because outside the house, there were bodies everywhere, and both of them were covered in blood. If the police saw this, there was no way they could explain it. But what they didn't know was that the students outside had already called the police. With no other choice, the two brothers decided to bury the bodies first. But just as they were moving them, a police car suddenly pulled up. The officer got out to investigate. Hank quickly tried to explain. He said the two of them were just fixing up an old house, but somehow, a bunch of college kids showed up and started killing themselves for no reason. For example, one of them forced himself into the wood chipper. Another one even shoved a wooden stake through his own throat. He said they were nearly scared to death, but the sheriff didn't believe a single word. He thought the brothers were treating him like an idiot. Without hesitation, he reached for the gun on his waist and ordered them inside for questioning. Once inside, the sheriff casually leaned against a wooden beam. But the next second, the rotten beam suddenly collapsed. The sheriff was badly injured. He forced himself back to the police car, trying to call for backup. But before he could say a word, he collapsed from blood loss and died on the spot. The students inside the car were instantly terrified. They never imagined these two killers were so insane they would even murder a police officer. Seeing this, Nick immediately blamed Hank. He said it was all Hank's fault for never fixing that rotten beam, which caused the sheriff to die by accident. Just as the two brothers were arguing, one brave student suddenly rushed out of the car. He quickly picked up the sheriff's gun, raised it, and prepared to shoot them both.
Fuck you, you motherfuckers! No, no, no!